Welcome to Survivorneers. In this spiritual discussion, we're going to talk about how to use wisdom to spot lying and deceit. If this sounds interesting to you and you want to equip yourself spiritually with the value and gold such as wisdom, then stay with me as we journey through this discussion. In order for us to be successful in spotting lying and deceitfulness, we must first define wisdom and what it is. We're not going to just say that wisdom is making good decisions. We want to go a little deeper into the spiritual ocean to define what wisdom is. Wisdom in the original sense, it comes from the idea of guiding ships or vessels into a channel or a pathway, and they would use ropes to guide these large vessels in. Of course, you know, if you are a captain of your ship, you want to have some guidance, some help, some counsel from either a tugboat. In modern days, that's what we use. Being from South Texas, there by the Gulf, I could see these large vessels from time to time come in underneath the bridge, and there's usually always a tugboat guiding them. But in the old sense, of course, they may not have had that, so they use ropes to actually pull the vessel in. And so this is where the word wisdom comes from in its original sense. It is also, when we make application of understanding wisdom, it is knowledge and understanding applied. In other words, it is choosing the best course of action in any given situation. And so wise wisdom is receiving the knowledge and understanding of a particular topic, a particular subject, or even as we journey through life and as we age, we have aged wisdom, and we can pass along this wisdom to family, friends, and even those that are in need of wisdom. And so we have the experience, we have the understanding, we've been there, we've gone through those trials, we felt the pain, we felt those emotions when we were being tested and tried. This is wisdom in a very powerful and active sense. It can shape us and mold us into who we are today. This is defining wisdom in a deeper sense. Now let's define lying and deceitfulness, because there is a difference between the two. Each has its purpose, each has its intention. And so we want to just use a little bit more precision when we are discussing lying and deceit. This is going to also help us spot it with wisdom and practice of how to observe it, how to identify it, and how to discern when lying and deceit are taking place, whether that is in our intimate relationship with our wife, our husband, boyfriend, or girlfriend, or our significant other or intimate partner, or even with family and friends. And especially, as you know, there is a lot of corruption in workplaces where people are using these tactics. So lying, as we can generally define it, is making false statements. And we know when we have the truth, a lie is a lie, and you can obviously see and tell that it is a lie. And of course, people use this to their advantage. And I'm not talking about lying in a sense where we have to protect ourselves. You know, that becomes an ethical dilemma, a very controversial discussion that we can have, because some people say that lying is lying and you should never ever lie. And I know that there's the other contrast where you can be in a life or death situation and you are asked a question and you lie to protect maybe yourself or your family or someone very close to you. And so I realize that that is a different discussion. But what we are identifying here is a false statement where the person is trying to gain an advantage. And so lying is simply making false statements. Deceitfulness, on the other hand, is something a little bit different. We have to be a little bit more precise. It's not exactly lying. Deceitfulness, in terms of an example that we can give here, is perhaps you have a couple and one is secretly committing infidelity behind their partner's back. And so they use stories such as, I'm going to be working late tonight at work. And in fact, they do work late, but they withhold truth and go out and commit the act against their partner. And they are being deceitful, saying, yes, I'm saying the truth. I am working late. But then on the other hand, they are trying to be tricky and sly in that they're not going to tell their partner what they are doing secretly. So this is deceitfulness. It's an intention to say partial truth and to manipulate that person or that situation and making them believe that they are telling the truth. Now, this is a lot more dangerous because deceitfulness can lead to destruction and destroying relationships and many things later because it's hidden. It's a covert agenda where the partner does not know and they feel like they do trust their partner, but they are being deceived by their partner. And of course, this takes a certain characteristic of a person to be able to practice such deceitfulness. As we can now see, there is a difference between lying and deceitfulness. And as I have shared, I believe personally that deceitfulness is more dangerous because the person is manipulating the situation. It's not just a false statement, and you can obviously see, oh, that's not true, that's a lie. It's actually a salesperson trying to use snake oil to make you buy the rotten, broken car. And so we have to be careful. We have to use wisdom to discern the difference. And you might say, well, what if I just don't know if my partner's lying? Or what if I just don't know if they're being deceitful? In time, everything comes to light. We have a powerful spirit in the human system that we can judge vibrations and energies. Have you ever just been shopping or maybe going to the grocery store or even the gas station, and a person is within your vicinity and you can sense something is not right there? Well, that person can be emitting negative energy and bringing it into your field, and the body can sense and feel those things. So this is the power of the human spirit. And I know that when we are being taken advantage of, that is not a happy moment. That is not something that we want to go through. But through time, everything comes to the light, and then lies and deceitfulness are exposed. I do have one more practical and very relatable example, but if you're gaining some value so far from this spiritual discussion and we are learning together and you're enjoying this discussion, understanding how to use wisdom to spot lying and deceitfulness, please subscribe to Survivorneers as we develop spirituality in our lives every day. So here is the other example that I would like to share, and that is in the realm of politics. Whether presidents, former presidents, whether senators, or other politicians that are in power, we have seen these representatives use deceitfulness, and especially with words, with their speeches, with manipulating facts and figures. We have definitely seen this in the realm of politics. You can take, for example, in a presidential debate, each has to prepare to be able to answer questions that they do not know yet. And of course, their team, their campaign can prepare them to anticipate the questions that may be asked. Each candidate has to use prudence, and they have to be able to prepare before so that they can conduct themselves in a manner that is ethical, that is true and factual, and not deceitful. And so this is a very, very popular example because many politicians lie and use deceit just so that they can be in power to enjoy all the benefits and all the gain, the money, the prestige that can come along with such a position. And so this is why I said earlier in the discussion that deceitfulness can be dangerous, because a person that is in power can lead and persuade people with their words. And words are powerful. They have a lot of meaning and impact. And if we believe some of these words and we are persuaded and it is not true, we go down a very destructive path. How do we use wisdom to spot these lies and deceitfulness that can and may come from politicians? We have to study, we have to dive into the realm of politics and learn the facts. We fact check what people say. We fact check what politicians and candidates say. We go and do our own research so that we will not find ourselves in that trap. And earlier we did talk about intimate relationships. How do we use wisdom in that situation? We get to know our partner before we get too intimately involved. And then we have children, we have a career, we have a mortgage, and we have a home. And all these things have developed over the years. And if we used wisdom and prudence in the beginning, it could have curtailed some of the suffering. Of course, I'm not saying that it is our fault that we find ourselves in this situation sometimes, but wisdom, being able to implement in every aspect of our lives, can help in a very meaningful and impactful way, but we have to embrace wisdom. This is why the book of Proverbs is one of my favorite ancient readings, because it is full of wisdom. In the introduction, it tells us that it is good for anyone. Does not matter your background, what you believe, your system of faith, your religion, your race. It does not matter, because these are principles, these are maxims or truths that we can apply in many aspects of our lives and be successful. So what is the chief thing to get in life so that we can be happy, spiritually balanced, fulfilled? It is wisdom. And wisdom, once again, is choosing the best course of action in any given situation. It is a powerful practice of knowledge and understanding applied. I hope that this spiritual discussion has been helpful on the topic of how to use wisdom to spot lying and deceitfulness. And if you like spiritual discussions like these, I encourage you to subscribe to Survivorneers, as here we love to talk about spirituality and how we can grow spiritually in our lives and in our everyday living.